Hi everyone, me llamo Marsha Robbins Smith. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I will be focusing on helping you with your situation and responses for CSEC Spanish Paper 2. Let's get right into it, shall we? Get into actually practicing the situations. I want to share with you 6 tips to master your situations in CSEC Spanish. And if you follow these tips, I'm sure that you will be able to tackle your situations with ease. So now let's get into these 6 tips. And now for our first tip. Increase your vocabulary. Regularly read short stories, comics, newspaper, magazine articles, or social media posts in Spanish. Watch Spanish miniseries or skits with English subtitles on YouTube. And make note of newly learned words and expressions. Tip number 2. Train your ears. Listen to Spanish songs, audios, and podcasts about topics of interest to mimic pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation. Now, students, in doing this, you will get accustomed to the different Spanish accents and increase your ability to understand what you hear and communicate effectively. Now, let us move on to the other tip. Are at tip number 3. Practice creating dialogues. Create dialogues for different scenarios. Develop the habit of writing dialogues or comic strips for different scenarios. For example, at the doctor's office or at a birthday party. Now, students' scenarios lend themselves to situational and functional language. This means you are taking the opportunity to use language in a realistic and communicative way. So functions like making an appointment, describing your feelings, asking how someone is doing are possible functions that may come out of a dialogue centered around the setting of a doctor's office. Okay, so what about the birthday party scenario? 3 possible functions here are sending an invitation, accepting invitations, talking about gifts and presents, and making birthday wishes. All right, let's continue. A continuar. All right, so we are now at tip number 4. Use AI. Interact with language apps to improve your vocabulary and evaluate your progress. Initiate conversations using various generative AI tools to learn different ways of asking for assistance or offering assistance, for example. And apply newly learned vocabulary in your speech and writing. So, students, AI tools like ChatGPT or ChatGPT-4, Memrise, and Duolingo Max are ideal for simulating conversations in your target language, which is Spanish, of course, providing grammatical explanations or generating practice sentences. So you can ask it or ask them to role play as a native speaker or quiz you on vocabulary. All right, and these are best for practicing conversation, understanding cultural nuances, of course, and exploring grammar in detail. So make use of the AI tools, students, and you'll see the wealth of knowledge you can get and the practice you can get in, speaking and developing your vocabulary. Es muy importante. Okay? A continuar. So here we go. Tip number 5. Make a schedule. Set aside a time each day for practicing your Spanish. As little as 5 minutes make a difference, students. Use different days to develop your language skills, which are listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Let's go to the final tip. Yes, so now we are at our final tip, tip number 6, which is try memorization strategies. Creating a memorization routine can enhance learning. So write down newly learned words or expressions. Read them, then say them aloud before going to bed. This will help you to remember new vocabulary. So now that we have looked at our 6 tips, it's time to practice. Vamos a continuar a la práctica. Okay, so for our situation and response practice today, we will be focusing on the May-June 2016 paper 2 exam. Okay, so the instructions are: write in Spanish the information required for each of the situations given below. Do not write more than 1 sentence for each situation. For some situations, a complete sentence may not be necessary. Do not translate the situations given. Do not use abbreviations. Do not write each answer on a different page. You will be penalized for disregarding these instructions. And remember, guys, that each question is valued 3 marks. So now we are going to jump right into some practice. So here we have our first situation, and the question reads: you will be arriving in a country on a certain date. Write the email that you send to your host providing 2 details of your arrival. So you are required to give flight information here, students. So like the flight number, you can give information about the airline and so on. So what is more important though is your time of arrival, okay, and when. So giving the date, the time, flight number, and so on. Okay, so now we are going to explore 2 possible ways of responding to this situation. So the first one is: hola Pablo, llegaré a Boston el 4 de abril a las 9 de la tarde o mañana. Okay, so hi Pablo, I will arrive at Boston the 4th of April at 9 p.m. or 9 a.m. Second response could be: hola Sandra, mi vuelo número AB231 procedente de Kingston está programado para aterrizar en el Aeropuerto Internacional de Miami a las 5 de la tarde o mañana. So, hi or hello Sandra, my flight number AB231 coming from Miami is scheduled to land at the Miami International Airport at 5 in the afternoon or in the morning. All right, a continuar. Now for our second question. The Spanish club's last meeting was very boring. Write the note you give to the club president suggesting 2 interesting activities for the next meeting. So what function is coming out here? You're required to make suggestions or to give recommendations. All right, so now we are going to look at 2 possible suggestions that we could give. So remember, students, type yours in the chat. All right, so you can pause the video to do this before even looking at my responses. Here they go. So the first one: me gustaría sugerir 2 actividades divertidas: noche de cine español y juego de trivia cultural. All right, so I would like to suggest two activities: Spanish movie night and cultural trivia game. Now let us look at another response. So here, of course, in the first response, there are two suggestions given. One is Spanish movie night and cultural trivia game. Okay, now let's look at another possible response. Response number 2. Podríamos incluir juegos de mesa y bailes latinos para animar nuestro encuentro próximo. So we could include board games and Latin dances to liven up our next meeting. Please pause the video to make note of vocabulary that you may not know. Okay, estudiantes? Muy bien. So please note that encuentro means meeting, and also I am sure you're more familiar with reunión. Okay, so both are saying the same thing. Vamos a continuar. Now let's look at the third question, and it reads: you send a note to your neighbor promising to do something for her while she's away on vacation. Write the note that you send. Okay, so here you're required to make a promise. So let's see how you could do this. Two possible ways. Now the first one is: estaré encantado o encantada de cuidar de sus mascotas durante tu ausencia, asegurándome de que estén bien alimentadas y atendidas. So here you're saying, I will be happy to look after your pets during your absence, ensuring they are well fed and cared for. All right, remember guys, to pause the video and make note of vocabulary that you're not familiar with. A continuar. Second response: prometo cuidar de tu jardín, regando las plantas y asegurándome de que todo esté en orden para tu regreso. Okay, very good. So I promise to take care of your garden, water the plants, and make sure that everything is in order for your return. Good. A continuar. Okay, so now we are at question number 4, and the question number 4 reads: you are reserving a hotel room online. Write the email requesting 2 things you would like to have in your room. So the first response could be: me gustaría solicitar servicio de habitaciones y una mini nevera en mi habitación para guardar algunas bebidas. So I would like to request room service and a mini fridge in my room to store some drinks. The second response could be: me gustaría tener una habitación con una hermosa vista al mar y acceso a una conexión Wi-Fi de alta velocidad, por favor. I would like to have a room with a beautiful ocean view and access to high-speed Wi-Fi, please. Okay, vamos a continuar. For 5th question, let's see. Write the text message you send to your best friend mentioning something that happened at graduation and how you felt about it. So this could be, you can think along the lines of writing something that was embarrassing, and of course you're going to express feelings in this. Okay, so you think along those lines, or you could think about something rare or strange, or you could think about something spectacularly happening. Okay, and you write along those. So you're required to express feelings. Okay, so now let us look at the first possible response. Mientras caminaba hacia el escenario para recibir mi diploma, tropecé con las escaleras y casi me caigo. Me sentí avergonzado o avergonzada, pero a la vez emocionado o emocionada. As I walked towards the stage to receive my diploma, I tripped on the stairs and almost fell. I felt embarrassed but excited at the same time. Okay, now let's look at another response. Hola, mi amigo o amiga. Gané el premio al estudiante más completo en la graduación y me siento tan feliz y emocionado o emocionada. So, hi, my friend. I won the prize for most all-rounded student at the graduation, and I feel so happy and excited. All right, so let us continue to the other question. Remember, guys, to pause and make note of vocabulary that you're not familiar with. A continuar. And I'm also encouraging you to subscribe to my channel so you can be alerted when I have posted new videos. Okay, so subscribe, keep the community alive and going, and share as well as like the videos. Muchísimas gracias. Now for our fifth question. No, not fifth question, sixth question. Write a note to your sister giving her permission to use something that belongs to you. So we have 4 more questions to go, guys. Okay, so you are required to give permission. Now let's see 2 possible ways of responding to a situation like this. Ready? Let's go. So the first one. Hermana, ¿tienes mi permiso para usar mi bicicleta cuando la necesites? So you have my permission to use my bicycle whenever you need it, okay? Second one, hermana, ¿puedes ponerte mi gorra roja en la escuela mañana para la fiesta? So sister, you can wear my red cap to school tomorrow for the party. A continuar. Okay, now we are at the 7th question. So, question number 7. Your teacher leaves a note warning the class of 2 things they must not do when she's out of the classroom. Write the note she leaves. Now, you can pause the video to respond, okay? So, what are you required to do? Give warning or to give instructions, okay? So, of course, commands will come out here. Now, let us look at the first one that we could write here. No se permiten teléfonos celulares ni dispositivos electrónicos durante mi ausencia. No cell phones or electronic devices are allowed during my absence. Okay, now let's look at another response that the teacher could give. Eviten interrumpirse mientras trabajan y mantengan un ambiente de estudio tranquilo y ordenado. Avoid interrupting each other and maintain a quiet and orderly study environment. Vamos a continuar. Right, so we are now at question number 8, número 8. And the question reads, you need to wake up early to study. Write the note you leave for your mother asking her to wake you up at a particular time. So let's see 2 possible ways of responding to this question. The first one is, Mamá, quiero estudiar para mi examen. Favor de despertarme a las 5 de la mañana. And the other one, Mamá, necesito despertarme temprano mañana. ¿Puedes despertarme a las 4, por favor? All right, so the first one, of course, you're saying, Mommy, I want to study for my exam. Please wake me up at 5 in the morning. The other one, Mommy, I need to wake up early tomorrow. Can you please wake me up at 4? All right, so we are moving on to the next 2 questions. All right, so we're almost done. Okay, muy bien, vamos a continuar. We are now at the 9th question, and question number 9 reads, you no longer want to study a particular subject. Write the email you send to your teacher informing her of this and the reason for your decision. So one possible response could be, Hola profesora, ya no quiero estudiar las matemáticas porque me cuestan mucho. Or you could say, Hola señora o señorita, he cambiado de opinión sobre estudiar la química porque no es necesario para mi carrera en el futuro. Hello teacher, I no longer want to study mathematics because it's very difficult for me. And the second one, hello miss or hi miss, I've changed my mind about studying chemistry because it's not necessary for my future career. Okay, a continuar. We have reached our final question, question number 10, and it reads, Your father is overseas. Write the email you send to him insisting on something he must do before he returns home. So now let's look at two possible ways of responding to this situation. The first response is, Hola papá, recuerda hacer o pedir o concertar la cita para ver al oftalmólogo antes de volver a casa. The second, papá, mi teléfono celular ya no funciona. Por favor, tienes que comprar otro para mí antes de volver. So the first response, of course, is saying, Hi, Daddy. Remember to make the appointment to see the ophthalmologist before you return home. And the second one, Daddy, my cellular phone no longer works. Please buy another one for me before you come back home. All right, so that is it for today, guys. I hope that you have benefited from this video and are more equipped to tackle your situations. Please check out my previously posted video on useful language functions for various situations. All the best. Y cuídense. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Adios. Goodbye.